Welcome back, everyone. Well, a decent chance to see some scattered showers and storms through the course of this weekend, although no particular day looking like a washout or anything like that. But of course, it's all about the tropics. We'll get into it here in just a little bit. But first, taking a look at the bigger picture here, and we have an upper level low again off to our west, and that's really going to play a major role in the eventual track forecast of Tropical Depression number 19 off the southeast coast of Florida this evening. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Elsewhere in the tropics, a lot going on. One spot just off of our coastline still has about a 30% chance to develop in the next 5 days as it heads toward the southwest, but really I don't think much will come out of this area. And then of course, Tropical Depression number 19. Really today we started to see some deeper convection get going right around the center of an area of broad low pressure here. So that's why the Hurricane Center upped it to a tropical depression earlier this afternoon. We'll get to that here in just a bit. Of course, we continue to track tropical storms Paulette and Renee out in the Atlantic, but really that's where they should remain. And then two other areas just off the African coast. One has a 90% chance to develop, the other a 40% chance to develop in the next 5 days, but these two, at least as of today, it appears, should also remain out to sea. So Tropical Depression number 19, this is the 10 o'clock advisory, brand new, wind still at about 35 miles per hour, moving toward the west-northwest at 8. And again, the track forecast hasn't changed a whole lot from earlier this afternoon, taking it toward the northern Gulf Coast here sometime early next week as a strong tropical storm, perhaps weak hurricane. Again, remember, intensity forecast, the least reliable out of the two. We, of course, have very warm waters out here in the eastern Gulf of Mexico and relatively low wind shear, so should set up at least somewhat of a conducive environment for further development before it kind of reaches a screeching halt here once it reaches the northern Gulf Coast. This is where a lot of the uncertainty is going to come in because the upper level steering currents for this storm are really just going to kind of fall apart, meaning it should just kind of meander around for a couple of days and maybe drift westward here into Wednesday, but a lot of uncertainty, and that's why the cone of uncertainty here is so large. It really extends all the way for the entire state of Louisiana. So we'll keep an eye on it, but if this track holds the center line right here, the worst of the impacts and the heaviest of the rainfall would actually stay just off to our east. But of course, we'll continue to monitor this as we head through the course of the weekend. Tracking it out here with the GFS, here we are Sunday afternoon with perhaps our tropical storm nearing the Florida Panhandle. And then notice still Tuesday afternoon doesn't really move a whole lot, maybe moves a little bit further to the west. GFS has been keeping this a little bit weaker than the other models, but nonetheless still sending some tropical moisture our way for the end of next week. So we're going to have to see how this plays out, but again, at least at this point, heaviest of our precipitation amounts look to stay a little bit further off to our east. And again, the GFS, this is the 18Z rainfall amounts through next Saturday, so over a week's worth of data here. And again, most of us across Acadiana perhaps picking up 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, so this is something we can certainly keep up with and not be too much of an issue, but this may be a little bit overdone. I still think whoever ends up on the eastern side of this system will pick up a pretty decent soaking here, but at least at this point it doesn't appear to be us here in Acadiana. So again, your next 10 days, rain chances are going to stay in the forecast through this weekend, slightly elevated, but no particular day this weekend looking like a washout. In fact, I think tomorrow we'll see sunshine through the morning and perhaps the first parts of the afternoon, and then really the rest of the 10-day forecast, rain chances highly dependent on the track forecast of Tropical Depression number 19. Of course, we'll have more details through the course of the weekend, but rain chances looking to sit 40 to 60% with our high temperatures in the 80s. Now to do it for weather, we have much more coming up right after the break.